Okay, so Mark here from Rock and Load, and this evening I am joined by Mr. Jordan Rudess, the man with the Midas touch from Dream Theater. The guys are due in the UK very, very shortly to kick off their UK and European tour, starting in Belfast at the SSE Arena on April 20th. Jordan, how are you, sir?
Doing very well. Yeah, we're in between legs right now. Looking forward to coming to Europe and bringing our show to all our fans there. It's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, cool. You guys were just doing the North American leg of the tour there, weren't you? Starting in February to March.
We were, yeah.
Yeah. How did that all go for you?
It was really, really great. It started off a little bit scary in the sense that we didn't know if people would be coming out due to COVID and stuff like that. And but after, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days of being on the road, I think the word got out that we were actually doing this and showing up. And, so we had some great audiences. Everybody was especially energized to be back at the shows and see us live and just have that really good time together. So it was great.
Yeah, and it's been such a weird time for everybody in the industry. Is this your first sort of bout of dates, or have you had a chance to play elsewhere before now?
Well, the North American Dream Theater tour was the first run since the 2-year break. Basically. Yeah. I had done a bunch of solo shows actually within the break, a little easier to manage,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And how was everybody then? Were you all match fit, ready for it? Because it's a shock to the system again, doing it live, isn't it, compared to in the rehearsal studio?
Yeah, it was. We prepared as much as possible, and then when we got out live, it was like, oh my God, we're back on the stage, and it's all happening, and it was really fun. It was great to be back.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about yourself, Jordan. Like, what's a little bit of your background regarding the instrument itself? I believe you studied it initially back at Juilliard School of Music at a young age.
Yeah. So I started when I was playing piano when I was 7. I went to Juilliard when I was 9. I stayed there up through the preparatory division, and then auditioned and entered the college division when I was 18. And I left about a year later to pursue my career.
Yeah.
So I had been at Juilliard for about 10 years.
Yeah.
I was going to be a classical pianist, but then various influences came into play. And a lot of them were musical. Things like hearing progressive rock and electronic music and all this kind of stuff, and kind of led me astray. So I took my classical foundation in all my studies and I applied that to everything that I've done ever since then, really.
Yeah.
And then, of course, these days, from years now, a major focus has been Dream Theater. So applying, that foundation to the prog metal kind of space.
Yeah. And I'm assuming the classical realm is such a disciplined realm. So how is that when you are sort of involved in the Dream Theater package?
Well, Dream Theater is being in Dream Theater is almost like being a classical musician, because everybody is so serious about what they do and such great players.
Yeah.
We kind of almost push each other a little bit, to keep up this very high level.
Yeah.
So classical background really has, been such an integral part of what I do.
Yeah.
And although everybody in Dream Theater, or I'm the only one that really comes from a classical background, except for like Mike Mangini has a bit of experience playing with orchestras and stuff as a percussionist. Oh, and he was also a professor at Berklee. But everybody has the same kind of attitude towards their instrument, towards learning their instrument, towards the way they play. We're all looking to be and to continue to kind of evolve as high-level musicians.
Yeah.
So,
and do you guys live in a close vicinity to each other? Are you living in the same state?
We're not that far away. The one who's furthest away is James. Up in Boston. John Myung is in Pennsylvania. I'm in New York. I'm one part of New York. John Petrucci is in another part of New York.
Okay.
So from pretty much East Coast.
And do you guys get together regularly then? Does that allow you the opportunity to do so, to practice? And how is the songwriting process work within Dream Theater?
So when we are ready to make an album, we book the time in the studio. These days we have our own studio, our own headquarters. And we generally, know that over this period of time, we're going to be working on this album, and we kind of, go to the studio. We're all together at first for whatever amount of time that is, a couple months, and writing music, and then we'll just end up taking turns doing the final tracking. As far as like practicing goes, before a tour, we'll book, a couple of weeks, again at our headquarters. We all come in prepared, having practiced the stuff on our own. We go in, we work it out for a week or two, and then we go on the road.
Yeah. And with your likes of your classical background, are you an improviser when you're playing live, or do you tend to be quite rigid in your performance?
Well, Dream Theater's music is pretty much, planned out, if you will.
Yeah.
And I would say that of all the guys in the band, I tend to do maybe, the most improvising. I mean, maybe Mike on the drums as well. But, there are definite parts that have to be played, but there's also room to improvise as well within them. So if I'm doing like a comping kind of a part, playing chords against something, I don't have to play the chords exactly the same way every time. I might try voicing, I might try some different things. If I hear it, I change things up in the places that I feel like it's, musical, that it's not going to freak out a fan who knows the music, So yeah, and the other thing I'll do sometimes is some of the leads, when it's a keyboard lead, sometimes I'll just play the lead according to what I feel that night, and I'm not going to play exactly what's on the album because I want to be a little bit spontaneous and loose. So I do value that a lot, but within a text that's pretty much defined.
Yeah. And your sets, for example, for the live tour, what's the average length of your set at the moment?
Well, we've been doing 2-hour sets.
Okay.
That's exactly, it's just exactly planned to be 2 hours.
And there must be like a million notes within those 2 hours. How do you guys get on top of that?
There's 3,044 notes. I'm kidding.
Absolute chaos, I'm sure. But how do you guys literally get that all tied down? What's the secret? What is the secret actually to be a good musician and keep on top of that?
Practice. Yeah. Focus, practice. There's no
hours of labor, I suppose, really is just the graft and hard work.
You have to spend it. No matter who you are, if you're going to play these instruments, guitars, pianos, drums, basses, vocals, you have to really work on it, and work on your craft and work on yourself so you can perform at your highest level. And we're always working. So
yeah. And what's it like as a band? You guys have obviously grown so much over the years, and now you're really at upper echelon levels within the industry. Bringing that stage show out with such a unique niche music as well, prog rock. You've done very well over the years.
Yeah. What's it like? I mean, we're just always so proud of the fact that we can go out around the world and play our, very individual kind of music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great feeling to, to get up, to be together and to play and to have that kind of powerful feeling, of putting on our show. And, we're a band that really likes to lock it down and deliver the goods, so to speak. Yeah. And for this show, we've got great video, we've got great lighting, and everything's very tight. So, it's always exciting, even though we do it, let's say, every night when we're on our tour. Every night is a thrill because it's a maximum energy and experience. And we know that the fans are out there for probably maybe the first time on this tour, or maybe the first time they've ever seen us. So it's always important. Yeah.
And do you notice a difference at all between the European fans and the American fans or North American fans?
Yeah, I do. Definitely, it's a different kind of a spirit, and even every country we go to.
Yeah. And obviously, you guys just picked up the Grammy there recently for The Alien. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure you guys must be delighted to get that recognition.
It's great. Yeah, no, it's a real boost. It's nice it's recognition, kind of almost like a validation from the real world, And,
yeah.
I mean, years Dream Theater wasn't even in the Grammy game at all, so we operated totally,
absolutely,
on the side. I don't know, somewhat intentionally decided to try to move into the mainstream world as far as letting them know we existed and getting some response. And this is our third Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
I guess they say is the third time's a charm. So we got. Yeah.
I was laughing because when John was walking up, it was like a mile-long walk to the stage. You could obviously the cool kids in the rock must have been hidden at the back, and I thought maybe his beard actually grew in the time he got up to collect that award. But he done it very well. He spoke very well. He must have made it quite a nervous occasion for him.
Only imagine. Yeah, I mean, I was nervous, and I was on a tropical island watching. So
yeah. Cool though. It must be great. And so tell me a little bit about the tour and the shows. What have you got lined up for the people in Belfast who are awaiting your arrival?
Wow, that's going to be so awesome. I don't know if we ever played there before, maybe years and years and years and years ago.
I'm not sure myself. Yeah, Dublin, maybe Dublin possibly, but in Ireland, but I'm not sure if you played Belfast.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, no, it's going to be a great show. I mean, you guys are lucky because we're all warmed up from the US tour.
Yeah.
So, I think that we're going to be able to deliver our best performance there. I know that we'll be excited, and I have a feeling that the audience probably will be pretty pumped up as well to see us.
Yeah. And the user all rested now, obviously, after the break from the first leg.
Yeah, hopefully not too rested though, right?
Yeah. So what is your pre-show ritual? Like what do you do to get ready for the show?
I smoke a lot of pot. No, I'm kidding. I don't smoke any. Matter of fact, on that note, it's really hard to be in a band like Dream Theater and do anything like that because there's so many rhythms and there's so much responsibility to the other guys that you have to be very focused. So the pre-show ritual is basically, to get warmed up. It's more important to me to be like loose and physically kind of like warm than it even is to necessarily like practice at the keyboard. So I always find that if I'm like flexible and loose and relaxed, well, then I can do whatever I want to do. So, I make it a point to kind of, as hard as I can, I try to get in that state of being. So when I walk on stage, I'm not rattled by the audience's intensity or anything like that. I can just kind of be there for the experience and be energized and do as great a job as I can do.
And after all these years, is there any sort of pre-show nerves at all? Does that still happen?
Well, yeah, especially like a show, like the first show of a tour, like after we've been on for like a month, because I'll be nervous that I remember everything and not fuck up, that kind of, the first couple of shows, I'll definitely be like, oh, let's try to remember everything,
And out of curiosity, I've always wondered, for an artist like yourself, and even say John on the guitar, is there a post-show ritual to cool down afterwards? Because obviously it's quite a physical thing, 2 hours of intense playing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody deals with it differently. Generally, we're pretty hungry at the end of a show.
Yeah.
Food,
Munchies.
Yeah. Sometimes, I'll have a glass of wine or something like that just to chill out a little bit. And then we just, basically relaxing. We get on the bus and we might chat a little bit and then we go to sleep because the next day is going to be just as busy as the one we just had.
Absolutely. Look, thank you very much for your time tonight. Absolute pleasure talking to you. And just a reminder for everybody out there, the guys land in Belfast at the SSE Arena April 20th, and then they're on to Newcastle and London for 3 in total UK shows. So again, big thank you to the one, the only Mr. Jordan Rudess.
Thank you, my friend. Awesome.
Thank you. Take care, Jordan. Thanks now.